We're starting today's adventure in the green pastures of downtown to recall an unforgettable wartime story involving a father and a son in 1940. With me on camera as always is Rick Von Schmidt. With a brave desire to support his country in World War II, Jack Bernard enlisted with the 6th Regiment of the Duke of Connaught's Own Rifles. He enlisted in Penticton, but after moving to Vancouver, Jack would have performed drills inside the armory here on Beatty Street. Here's Jack. Guy would do anything for his country. Meanwhile, Claude Detloff, or Det, as friends called him, was working for the Vancouver Province newspaper. Det was a savvy photographer. Hey, wait a minute. I don't think the province was here in 1940. Let's check the old listings. Here we are, 198 Hastings Street. Let's go. Yeah, that's more like it. Det was a humble and kind man, and he was a fine photographer. He started working for the province here in 1936. The camera he used required split-second timing because it held just one piece of film at a time. It was called a speed graphic, and it weighed 5 kilograms. It looked similar to this one. Here's Det. Friends couldn't figure out how he stayed so thin because he loved eating homemade cookies. On October 1st, 1940, Det was right here at the corner of 8th and Columbia Street in New Westminster, and he was about to make history. After months of drills and guard duty, Jack's regiment was ordered out. Along with his fellow soldiers, Jack marched south down 8th Street here to board a ship, the Princess Joan, which would take them far away. Nobody knew the destination. It was top secret. Lots of sad family members walked alongside the parade to say farewell, including Jack's wife Bernice and their 5-year-old son Warren, who was known by his nickname, Whitey. Det sat up down here at the bottom of the hill, watching the parade and hoping to get a good picture for the next day's newspaper. Suddenly, the thought of losing his daddy was too much for Whitey, and he broke free from his mother's grasp. Jack was so overcome that he compromised protocol and reached out for his boy. Whitey yelled, "Wait for me, Daddy!" And at that very moment, Det took his one and only shot of the day. And here it is. The photo depicts so many different emotions: pride, sadness, and anxiety. The long line of marching soldiers and the sad faces alongside them. Bernice outstretches her hand and her coat swirls. Whitey is torn between mother and father. Jack shifts his rifle, and his right hand for a moment changes from weapon of war to protector of the innocent. Everything in this image is unforgettable. Det's photo ran in the province the next day and would be picked up all over the world, including Life magazine, which put it in its top 10 photos of all time. Even in this colorized version, the powerful themes of love, family, and separation are timeless. In this instant, Whitey, Jack, and Det showed the world the incredible bond between father and son. It is a heart-stopping moment frozen for eternity. It's a masterpiece of unplanned composition. Copies would be placed on the walls of every school in the province. It's been called the most famous Canadian photo of World War II. The city of New Westminster has installed a tripod here at the exact spot where history was made. And that's not all they did. More on that in a minute. The good ship Princess Joan would take the soldiers from the Fraser River here to Nanaimo for training. Jack would eventually be promoted to sergeant, serve as gunnery instructor, and was posted to an armored regiment. In 1944, he landed at Juno Beach, and he defended his country bravely in France. He was in many battles in Normandy, where there were multiple losses of tanks and crews. While Jack was away, Whitey helped with the war too. He joined traveling entertainment troops whenever he could, selling victory bonds to raise money for the war effort. He met celebrities, including Edgar Bergen and his dummy, Charlie McCarthy. In 1945, 10-year-old Whitey was living with his mom in Suite 22 here at the Ashnola Apartments on 6th Street. One day, his grandfather took him down the street to the train station. 5 years after the famous Wait for Me Daddy picture was taken, Whitey's daddy had finally come home. The war was over for Jack, It was the happiest day of Whitey's life, and Det was there to take a picture of the reunion. The exact location of this picture has been lost in time, until now. I called Whitey, who remembered which side of the building it was taken, and when I studied the picture, I noticed this unique chip in the stone on the right there. So I looked closely all over the station, and on the left side of the entrance here, I located that same stone chip. It's right over here. So I'm standing in Det's footprints, and Whitey and Jack's happy reunion was right there. This is the exact location. Another first here on the JCVC channel, ladies and gentlemen. Det here worked for the province newspaper for 39 years, retiring in 1961. He was always humble about his famous picture. He said Lady Luck was with him that day. Thanks to my friends at West Vancouver's Capilano View Cemetery, I found Det's memorial marker. Here it is. He passed away in 1978 at the age of 79. Claude Detleff and his wife Lena are remembered right here. For many years, Jack worked hard as a lumber grader at the old Eburn sawmill in Marpole. It would be a long time before he spoke of his war experiences. He had been through some very traumatic events. After a full and fruitful life, Jack Bernard passed away in Vancouver in 1981. He was 74. His obituary says he was survived by 2 sons and 3 grandchildren. And Bernice sadly passed away in 1997. Whitey is having an eventful life. He grew up in Vancouver and then moved to beautiful Tofino. In 1964, he married his wife Ruby, who had grown up looking at his famous picture in her classrooms. Whitey ran a marina for many years and eventually became mayor. He's 85 now, and a few years ago he returned to France to retrace Jack's wartime experiences. In 2014, the city of New Westminster recognized the Wait For Me Daddy photograph by unveiling this bronze statue at the place where it all happened. There was a huge crowd here for the ceremony, including Charles Bernhardt and Henry Criewoken, who were 2 of the brave riflemen in the parade 74 years earlier. And who gave the keynote address at the unveiling? You guessed it, Whitey Bernard. He told the crowd that thousands of people have contacted him over the years to talk about the photo. And he said his late mom in particular would have loved the statue. At the ceremony, the Royal Canadian Mint displayed their new coins celebrating the photograph. And Canada Post issued a special stamp to commemorate the picture too. Jack was one of the lucky ones who made it back from the war alive. The graves of many brave soldiers who weren't so lucky are just down the road here at the beautiful Fraser Cemetery. And friends, with your blessing, we'll have a moment of silence for these heroes who sacrificed their lives for us. Claude Detleff would have gone home on October 1st, 1940, unaware that his photo would have such a profound historical impact. He was probably just thinking about his beautiful wife Lena, hoping that she made him a fresh batch of cookies. Well, I'm happy to say that Claude's house, built in 1930, is still standing. It's on West 31st Street. Let's go. Special thanks to Whitey Bernard for his very kind assistance today, as well as Oana at the New Westminster Archives, and Lieutenant Colonel Archie Stacey, retired commanding officer of the same regiment in which Jack served. Today's vlog is dedicated to my dad, John, watching in Calgary. Love you, Pop. Hope you enjoyed this little taste of old Vancouver as she once was. My thanks to Bev Sugarman for makeup and Jewel Hailmere for wardrobe. On behalf of Rick and myself, thanks for watching and subscribing. And until next time, that's a good bee.